confidence is shaken a little bit, Marv. They blow that big game lead in game 1, get hammered by 30 in game 2. I think it's important for the Spurs to get off to a good start.
All right, Lakers control the tip. Odom for Gasol. Looking to set up the footwork. Hooks a pass down low. Bryant able to stay in bounds along the baseline and then kicked it out. Bryant claiming last touch by San Antonio, but the ball will go to the Spurs. Tony Parker, only 6 of 15 from the field in game 2, just 13 points. Parker guarded by Fisher. Bowen being played by Bryant. Although, as we have seen, Kobe will float. Duncan had it blocked. Here's Duncan in a crowd. And Radmanovic handles the back tap.
Good aggressive move, though. That's exactly what Greg Popovich wants, for Duncan to attack before the doubles get there.
Fisher, who opened up with a burst the other night in Los Angeles. Finley putting moves on Radmanovic. Rebounded by Radmanovic. Pau Gasol rims out. Bryant giving Bowen the room. Bowen, yes.
That's what they're counting on, making those open shots here tonight. Actually, Bruce Bowen has been one of their better shooters in this series, Marv. They're going to need that from the rest of his teammates.
Bowen 5 of 8. 2 threes in the first game, at 3 of 5 in game 2. Odom. Lakers get back. Parker for Finley, not able to handle that pass. Talking with Greg Popovich earlier, he said feels that this is the freshest the Spurs have been in quite some time, and as he told us dramatically, we'll decide tonight whether there's a series.
And they're going to look to push the ball up more. Being here at home, they'd like a little bit more up-tempo, especially with Tony Parker. And they're going more to a motion offense tonight rather than as much screen and rolls. They want to get a lot of movement.
Well, both clubs struggling here at the start. Alberto should have let it go, but stepped out as he played that rebound.
This is what we're talking about, Marv. You were asking about Kobe. If he gets a sense here his team is struggling, look for him to try to get him a quick field goal here on this possession, just to get the lid off that basket.
And here's Bryant. There it is. The first attempt by Kobe. You recall Bryant opened up in game 1, just 1 of 3 from the field in the first half, then came on strong. Duncan tried to bank it. He's way off. Bryant again.
He feels the game. He's an amazing player. Game 1, we saw him take 3 shots in the first half, get everybody involved. The other night, he was more aggressive. Sensing his team needed a little confidence here, he's come down and knocked down 2 quick shots.
Bowen coming up short, rebounded by Odom. Radmanovic on the run and is fouled. Hacked by Finley.
This is the shot that Greg Popovich wants to take, Marv. You talked about that angle bank shot that's always been so good for him. He missed that one badly, and Kobe coming right down on that little early break, pulls up and knocks down the shot. So 2 quick field goals by Kobe Bryant. The Lakers see that ball go in the basket, and then the nice kind bounce for Vlade Radmanovic.
And Greg Popovich saying he wants to see Duncan be a volume shooter tonight. Take the shot, he said he's told Tim.
And what happens, and if he's playing very well, then maybe the Lakers have to help, and then it creates shots for other guys. That's why Duncan is so important, especially with the Ginobili hobbling and Parker. That kept him out of the paint the last game and a half.
Parker, yes.
Lost a little confidence. I thought he was tentative in game 2. Was not the little pull-up shot that he's worked so hard on this year, and that was a nice play in rhythm.
Tony Parker coming up a strong series against the Hornets and against the Suns. Bryant, yes. So Kobe Bryant has opened up by hitting 3 jumpers hitting on his first 3 attempts.
He walked by me and hit my hand before the game, got broken. He said, "You know what time it is?" And I said, "Well, I'm ready." And obviously he is.
And as Parker got the screen offensive foul called, the basket does not count. The foul on Oberto.
See, the referees used to let you get away with that, where Fisher would go under that screen, and the roll man, the guy who set the screen, you could roll and bury that guy. They will not let you do that anymore.
The Lakers have won 10 of 12 games in the postseason. The sweep of Denver beat Utah in 6, took the first 2 in LA over the Spurs. They've gone 7-0 at home in the playoffs. Bad pass played by Oberto. And San Antonio here at home in the regular season, 34-7, among the top records in the NBA. Finley comes up short. So the Spurs just 2 for their first 7. Odom off the dribble. Will not count. Traveling violation.
You know, it's interesting with Michael Finley. I thought Greg Popovich told us something that was pretty revealing. He said the only shots that Michael Finley have made are the ones when they've run plays for him. When he's come out of a timeout and they've run plays, those open shots out of double teams, those are the ones he has to make.
San Antonio maintains possession. Here comes Mato Ginobili. And he hears it from the crowd.
Well, you can see what he's done. 1 day rest, what his numbers are in the playoffs, and 2 days rest. This is 7 games both ways, so it's an even split. It goes back again, Marv, to how important that Game 1 loss was. Had San Antonio held on and won that game, they would have been able to rest Manu. He would have had 3 days rest for this home game. That's how devastating that loss was in Game 1.
Foul called on Bryant. Otto came off the bench. Game 2 continued to struggle. 23 minutes, 2 of 8 from the field. And the ball back to the Lakers. In the playoffs, the Spurs 6-0 here at the AT&T Center. They won 3 out of 3 against Phoenix, 3 out of 3 against New Orleans. Dating back to last season, San Antonio has won 12 consecutive playoff games here at home. Bryant with his first miss. Parker, well, Tony Parker able to get into the paint.
See, when the game opens up and the Lakers can't get their defense back, he has those cracks and is able to get in there. When they get back and they wall him in, there's no place for him to go.
Fisher with a rainbow. And a loose ball foul on Radmanovic.
You know, Marv, I think the Spurs also, too, are hoping that New Orleans series, they think back on it. Game 1, in the loss, they scored 82 points. In Game 2, they scored 84. They came home in Game 3 with 110, and then in Game 4 with 100. So let's keep our eyes on tonight. They scored 85 in LA, 71. They're hoping for a big bounce-back game offensively.
And Doug, once again, early entrant for Robert Horry. Greg Popovich still looking to capture some magic from the 37-year-old Horry, who's had an injury-hit season. 0 for 5 in Game 2. All 5 attempts from beyond the three-point line. Here's Duncan. He got the step.
The quick attack. Get in there. There's no way Gasol can handle it because Duncan gets his body into him, and Gasol is too light to be able to play that power move.
San Antonio's taking a 1-point lead. We're halfway through the first. Gasol.
How about Phil called those shots early in the game? He called those weenie shots. He said they were so weak shots. And I said, Phil, I almost said that on the air, but I said he was just sort of flipping the ball at the basket. So Phil a little bit more descriptive in his Pau Gasol imitation.
Yeah, he thought he was a bit on the timid side with some of those field goal attempts, particularly early in Game 2. Gasol, he has a beautiful touch.
See, what happens is now they want Odom attacking off that dribble, and when he does, Gasol plays so beautifully off him that he can step out and make that jump shot. So when you have a big man that can shoot a 15-footer and he can get in the lane with this kind of left-handed finesse, I mean, the Memphis Grizzlies, that deal they made with the Los Angeles Lakers, wow.
Lieutenant David Robinson. There are more retired military personnel in San Antonio than anywhere on the globe besides Washington, D.C. We thank them for their service and honor them this weekend.
All right, thank you, Craig. San Antonio ball as we resume. Ginobili being chased by Radmanovich. Rebounded by Fisher. Lakers have an 11-8 lead. Marv Albert, Doug Collins, Craig Sager from San Antonio. Gasol stripped. Could not get the second attempt off. Odom does.
The Lakers are such a long, athletic team in that lane. It just causes so many problems for that Spurs front line.
6-0 run for the Lakers. They collapsed on Duncan, and it led to that bad shot.
That's Fisher once again there, Marv, getting back in that lane like he did on Carlos Boozer in that Utah series.
There's Bryant off the crossover, had a clear path.
I would say that's a pretty decisive move there. What a crossover. We have not seen that from Kobe in this series.
Bryant has come out, hit 4 of 5 from the field. Lakers have a 15-8 advantage. Bowen. The rebound comes to Gasol. Good start for the Lakers. Bryant over Ori for 3. Rebound is one-handed by Ginobili.
You get a sense that Kobe's really trying to put the Spurs in a hole here early.
Ginobili from downtown.
Listen to this crowd when that ball goes in. This guy, Marv, I said he's the motor that makes him go.
Mono coming off a superb series against the Hornets. Radmanovich with a long 3. Duncan with the outlet. Ginobili able to get to it. Fisher back. Ginobili pulls it up. Yes!
Boy, look at the look on Manu Ginobili's face. It's like a man who's been released out of a cage right now. The aggression. 2 back-to-back big shots for Manu Ginobili.
The Spurs within 1. Bryant feeling for Bowen as they clear it out. Kobe had to give it up, and a foul is called, a pushing foul. The basket will not count. Foul is on San Antonio. It's on Ori.
Manu Ginobili, this is what they'd like to do when they get a defensive stop, get that ball out to either Ginobili or Parker on the break. Ginobili with the pull-up, and you could just see the relief on his face. Lakers had put it out to a 15-8 lead. Back-to-back baskets by Ginobili, cuts it to 1.
Ime Udoka's come on, and he is now defending on Bryant. Udoka and Brent Marion checked in. Tony Parker sitting down. Gasol with a good pass, and Odom fouled.
See what they do a good job, Marv. Those Laker big men, they're both very good passers. And I call it sort of a weak side punch in. They run a screen roll, and as Gasol rolls out, he's going to actually be catching the ball as a passer because that defense is rotating over, and now Lamar Odom punches in right through the heart of that defense, and when both of your big men can pass, you get those kind of opportunities.
Lamar Odom, in the opener of this series, only 3 of 12 from the field, 8 points, a subpar performance, but came back strong in game 2. Was assertive early, 20 points, 12 rebounds. And he was the matchup that most concerned Greg Popovich coming into the series.
Well, he talked to Craig Sager after the game, and he said it was the same thing with the Utah series. He wanted to kill those big guys out, penetrate, use his quickness. In game 1, he was laying out at the rim. In game 2, did a much better job finishing, and no better finisher in the league than this man, the MVP, Kobe Bryant. Tonight, Manu Ginobili, a smaller player, has to rotate over and guard him, and it also opens up the corner, so if Odom catches it, that corner then will be wide open. So we'll watch that as the game goes on.
Odom will head to the line. During the season, only a 66% free throw shooter. Sasha Vujacic and Jordan Farmar, very effective twosome off the bench for the Lakers. First 2 games. Checking in, that means Bryant moves up front to play with Odom and Gasol.
And Marv, you and I were talking about this matchup. Now you've got Ginobili out there on the floor with Brent Barry instead of Jacques Vaughn. So let's just see if the Lakers try to put more pressure on them bringing the ball up here. Let's see if Farmar and Vujacic extends their defense. It looks like that's what they're going to do. Now the reason Brent Barry's out there is because the Lakers weren't guarding Jacques Vaughn, and they're hoping that with Barry out there, he'll give them some better spacing. But the Lakers are going to push up their defense here and try to pressure.
Barry being pressured by Farmar. Barry gets it across. So Brent Barry is the point guard with Tony Parker getting some rest time. Here's Duncan trying to squeeze his way through. And you can see as the foul is called, Phil Jackson is going back to the blitz effect on Duncan, which we saw in Game 2 was primarily single coverage in Game 1.
Well, until Robert Ory starts making shots, and Lamar Odom is going to be able to roam. You're going to see Lamar Odom come over here and be the guy that's going to double team. Right there he is. And you see the scrambling Laker defense. They were in good position until they reached in and committed the foul.
Foul on Gasol. Duncan has had his problems at the line in this series, following that 6 for 6 in Game 7 against New Orleans. You can log on to TNT Overtime on NBA.com and vote each quarter for the Spur and Laker players that you want to watch side by side in a unique internet and television experience exclusive to TNT Overtime at NBA.com. Duncan back to 61% at the line for the postseason. Was up to 73 in the regular season, which was a major improvement. Although the Spurs not spending much time at the line. The other night, 5 for 10. Only 5 made free throws.
Which is a franchise record for an opponent makes.
Gasol with a jump hook.
He's a very smooth player in that lane. He's got long arms. And when he gets the ball down there, we've seen him make a left-handed jump hook and a right-handed jump hook and a jump shot in this period. It's going to be an offensive foul on Duncan, backing down Gasol.
And Gasol pulled the Rick Mahorn step-away trick. Somewhere Rick is smiling.
See, Duncan's trying to get such deep low post position. That ball goes in the corner. They said he got his right arm back in there, and then Gasol took a little bit of a dive there.
Lakers up by 3 as we come up on 2 minutes to go in this first quarter. Farmar coming off a terrific game. Shot clock to 5. Gasol on the drive. It count. No, it will not count. Traveling violation.
Well, that was a very touchy play right there. Had that been a foul on Duncan, that would have been 2 quick fouls. So very fortunate here because there's the walk right there. And Duncan, when he heard that whistle, thought he was called for a foul.
Here comes the Spurs. There's Ginobili chased by Vujacic, and he draws the foul. He knew he had Vujacic in the right spot.
Ginobili's got fresher legs tonight. He looks much sharper and much quicker. Sometimes, Marv, that's what happens when you see that ball go in the basket. Get that adrenaline rush. He's been so struggling, and he's a guy who doesn't make any excuses. He said, I played terribly the other night. It wasn't my finger. It wasn't my ankle. I played terribly. I got to be better.
He and Sasha Vujacic have been going at each other the first 2 games. Vujacic has played very well.
You know, he said he played against Manu when he was 17 or 18, and Manu was already an established star. And he said, so I know what Manu likes to do, and I know what I can do to play against him. So he was a young player. Manu was already an established star, but already getting a book on what he wants to do, playing him defensively.
Well, Ginobili with 8 of San Antonio's last 9 points. The Laker lead is 1. Bryant for 3. Rebounded by Duncan. Here comes Ginobili. Pulls it up for 3. Rebounded by Bryant. Gasol battling for position against Duncan, then gives it right back. Farmar from downtown.
How about the confidence that he has in this series? I mean, against Denver and Utah, he really struggled. He had his first shot of this series and has been playing well since. As Udoka then follows it up with his little pull-up too.
And that's a tough angle shot. Ime Udoka off the bench. Gasol And the foul called on Udoka.
Well, you can see what the Lakers are doing. They're getting Duncan involved in all the pick and rolls, so he is out on the floor. So they have taken him away from the basket, and now it's either Robert Horry back there or one of the smaller defenders. And so you can see Phil Jackson, and watching the tape, said, we're going to get Duncan out on the floor, and that opens up that basket to be able to attack.
Kurt Thomas and Tony Parker are getting set to come on. How about Pau Gasol, how his life has been changed, went from the team, the Memphis Grizzlies, that was 13-33 at the time of the trade, to a major contender this after Andrew Bynum suffered the injury. And here's Pau Gasol as a mainstay on this Laker team, third overall pick back in 2001, originally taken by the Hawks and then was sent to Memphis and acquired from the Grizzlies back on the 1st of February.
Seems like the Lakers through history have always made those kind of trades. Remember Michael Thompson when they got him, when they got Bob McAdoo? It seems like they've always added one of those guys to their team before the playoffs.
McAdoo able to do it off the bench. The same for Thompson. Ginobili gives it up. Here's Thomas open. And the rebound is handled by Luke Walton, who just came on. Odom tried to get it to Gasol, and it was a bit low, as Pau demonstrates. Coming up on a half minute to go in this first quarter. The Lakers with a 3-point lead. Parker gets inside.
Well, he's hit a jumper and 2 layups. And when he gets a couple layups, that makes that jump shot a lot easier to take.
And Tony Parker's hit all 3 of his shots. 4-second differential between the game clock and shot clock. Famar, oh, he went glass. Little half hook off the backboard. Final seconds of the first quarter. Parker with the teardrop. At the end of one here in San Antonio, the Lakers have a 24-21 lead on the Spurs. The good news for San Antonio, Manu Ginobili looking sharp. 8 points, he's hit 2 from downtown. Kobe Bryant with 8 points on 4 of 7 shooting. Craig with Phil Jackson when we come back. I don't know, Doug. Phil always fascinated by Craig's wardrobe.
I've seen Segs. I do Popovich this year with an interview, and he reached in and take his little kerchief out of his pocket, wiped his brow, and put it back. So I thought there's no better sport than Craig Sager. Didn't even miss a beat with his second question.
Second quarter is underway. 24-21 lead for the Lakers. Here's Barry for 3. And rebounded by Ronny Turiaf, who has just come on for Pau Gasol.
Let's see how good this energy unit off the bench is on the road, but it's been so good in L.A.
Kobe Bryant getting a rest. Odom, 3-second violation. Odom trying to set up against Horry in the lane.
What Phil always does, and he's done this in Chicago and in L.A. Both times he's coached, is he keeps one guy out there, a glue guy. Used to be like Scottie Pippen with the bench unit. This one time it's Lamar Odom out there with the 4 bench players.
Here's Ginobili going strong to the rim. Vujacic and Famar in the backcourt. Turiaf up front with Odom and Walton. Odom played by Horry. Back comes Parker. Parker and Barry now in the backcourt with Thomas, Horry, and Ginobili on the front line. Ginobili played by Vujacic. There's Parker. Famar trying to draw the charge. Thomas, yes.
That's his shot right there. Kurt Thomas, you can put a piece of tape down on the floor, and he'll knock down about 8 out of 10 of those.
He's had a quiet first couple of games against the Lakers, has not been getting the playing time. Minute and a half in. Second quarter. Marv Albert, Doug Collins, Craig Sager. We are in San Antonio, game 3 of the Western Conference Final Series. Odom had it slapped away, And it's a 24-second violation. A good job defensively by the Spurs.
You can see Lamar Odom is being very aggressive with that second unit. He shot a jump shot that time. The double team comes from the baseline to help Brent Berry out, who was being posted by Lamar Odom. Notice all the motion in the San Antonio offense. You don't see the pick and rolls. You're seeing them on the move trying to create these kind of shots.
Horry off the mark. Rebound Odom. Kuriev knocks it down. Rony Kuriev, who has been the backup to Pau Gasol and has done a good job of maybe 12-14 minutes. His third season out of Gonzaga. Ginobili. Oh, but a swing away from Vujacic.
That's vintage Manu Ginobili there, the leaping leaner.
10 points for Ginobili. Thomas and Kuriev at a battle down low. Odom. Good job by Parker to slap it away. Barry is on it. Parker, Vujacic back. The Spurs have taken a 1-point lead.
And notice this Lakers second unit has not been nearly as effective here tonight on the road. The Spurs taking advantage of them.
Standing ovation here in San Antonio. Like Barry took a shot inadvertently on the lip. Shot clock to 5. Once again, good defense here by San Antonio. That's an offensive foul on Kuriev.
Manu Ginobili with a beautiful little up and under move against Sasha Vujacic, looking much nicer tonight. And this is what the Spurs want to do. The one-man fast break of Tony Parker. They lead by 1.
Overtime at NBA.com for more Dockers looking good performances. And Kobe Bryant is back on the floor.
And he wants him with the second unit. Lamar Odom now getting a rest. So Kobe out now with the 4 bench players.
San Antonio with a 1-point lead. Parker. Kuriev, Walton. And Bryant up front with a backcourt of Vujacic and Farmer. Here's Bryant getting inside.
When he sees Udoka, his eyes light up because Udoka just doesn't have the quickness to play him. And Bruce Bowen's going to come right back into the game. He's not going to let Kobe go on a run.
Lakers back up by a point. Ginobili for 3. Yes. And it appeared that Bryant got a piece of it. Ginobili with his third 3. He has 13 points in all.
You know, Phil Jackson said before the game he was worried those shots they were missing were going to go in tonight.
Vujacic for the driving hook.
Over Tim Duncan.
Sasha Vujacic out of Slovenia. A first-round pick of the Lakers back in 2004. Here's Ginobili again. That's his 4th from downtown. The Spurs with a 33-30 lead. Bryant, yes.
There's something about when you get a certain defender on you, you know you can score anytime. And unfortunately for Udoka, when Kobe sees him, he can be playing good defense. Kobe still feels like he can score anytime.
12 for Kobe Bryant. And a blocking foul called on Kuriev. And now Bruce Bowen will check back in.
We don't want Kobe to go on a run with his second unit. And Manu Ginobili, like you said, Marv, looked like Kobe got a piece of that shot. Very close. Beautiful rotation, nice elevation and arc on the shot. And right now he's in one of those moods, just getting the ball, and it's going to be catch and shoot. Just looked like he was going to do it again. This time he goes to the rim. They're going to get a 3-point play.
It counts and the foul. Welcome back, Manu Ginobili.
This guy is so important to their team because he is such a fearless player. Went into the lane, got hit in the face, and look at the expression. This man is such a competitor, Marv. I have such great admiration for players who don't make excuses. And I think when you look at the Lakers, you look at the Spurs, yes, these are great teams, but they're two coaches who don't allow excuses. You play through.
And Manu has 19 of the Spurs' last 28 points. He has scored their last 9. San Antonio leads by 4. It's the biggest lead of the night for the Spurs. Farmar rejected by Duncan. Farmar, yes.
Wasn't pretty, but effective.
We still have a long way to go. The Spurs with a 2-point lead, but what makes the home court so comfortable for the home team? The comfort of the rims, the background, the lighting, favorite spots on the floor. Duncan is fouled. The energy of the home crowd.
I think it all plays into it, especially when you're an older team like the Spurs. I mean, you've been on the road. Think about this, Marv. They were 1 game in New Orleans, so they were 2 days in New Orleans. They travel right to LA. They play that game 1, blow a 20-point lead, then get blown out in game 2 by 30. Come home tonight, get off to a sluggish start. But I talked about it before the game. Home sweet home. You talked about being 6-0 and how well they shoot here. They're shooting now almost 47%. Look what they do at home. They average over 103 points a game. On the road, 86, 87 points.
And the Lakers have been a good road team during the course of the playoffs. 3 up, 2 down on the road in the postseason.
I think they've actually been the best road team. When you look at them, they win twice in Denver. And the 2 games they lost in Utah, they were both very winnable games. 1 game they lost in overtime. And then they go back and finish that series off in 6, which was so important because had it gone 7, they would have had to play game 7 on Monday night, the same night that New Orleans played against San Antonio.
Duncan 3 of 4 at the line. San Antonio by 4. Walton trying to get the opening and went high off glass.
Farmar was 7, Vujacic 2, Walton 2, Turioff 2, so 13 points off that Laker bench.
And now Greg Popovich takes a timeout, just under 6 to go in this first half. Spurs have a 2-point lead here in San Antonio. Doug, over the first 2 games, he managed only 17 points.
And more importantly, he's knocking down that 3 ball, which is so important to this team. He has 4 of 5. So they're +9 from behind that 3-point line, Marv. That was one of our keys. They had to start knocking down perimeter jump shots.
Ginobili getting a rest. Parker is back, as is Finley. Here is Parker. Yes.
Well, it's been Parker and Ginobili. They now have combined for 29 of the 40 points that the Spurs have scored here tonight.
Parker's hit 5 of 7. Spurs lead by 4. Bryant facing the double, got it to Odom. There's Gasol with an open shot. The Lakers get back as Parker moves it across. Horry not even looking for that 3-point shot.
Better ball movement though here from the Spurs. See, this is a big shot here for Duncan. He can't get on track. He's 1 of 6, so they haven't been able to get all 3 guys going at the same time in a game yet.
Bruce Bowen is back on Kobe Bryant. And the foul is on Bowen. He felt he was pushed by Bryant just a moment ago.
I love the game in a game. There could be just one separate camera on those 2 guys and the competitive instincts. Bruce Bowen's one of these guys that he does not want to give an inch. And Kobe admires and respects that. He loves guys to compete against him. But Bruce Bowen, I mean, he wants to get up chest to chest. And in this series, really, that's not what Greg Popovich wants. He wants to give him some space and make him a jump shooter and keep him off the foul line.
Radmanovic is back. Vujacic sitting down. Just under 5 remaining in the first half. Odom putting moves on Horry. Rebound Duncan. Spurs looking for a victory to stay alive, trailing 2 games to nothing. Lakers try to go 3-0 in this best of 7. Here's Duncan. Went to the changeup and then kicked it home.
See, Gasol made a mistake there. Duncan has not made a shot the entire game. He pump fakes him and Gasol goes for it and gives him that driving lane. He missed the layup, but nice follow-up.
Odom. And the foul is called on Ori.
That's what I was talking about. You know, Duncan has not made a jump shot the whole night, so you don't bite on that fake. You got to understand this guy has not made a shot. Make him make a jump shot. Get him thinking on that shot. And Gasol made a mistake, and Duncan with a nice second effort.
National coverage of the NBA playoffs continues tomorrow on ESPN. Game 4 of the Celtics and the Pistons. And then Tuesday right here on TNT, Game 4 between the Lakers and the Spurs. Coverage starting at 9 o'clock Eastern time. How about the Celtics winning on the road last night at the Palace? They had dropped their first 6 road games in the playoffs. Kevin Garnett leading the way, 22 points, 13 rebounds.
Well, I think we talked about it, that they had lost their security blanket. It was no longer all they had to do at winning home. And so what they do, they went in the Palace and played their best road game that they've had all playoffs long.
Odom only 1 of 3 at the line, 1 of 6 from the field. Ginobili just checked back in, comes away with the loose ball. Here's Parker putting it up against Bryant. Nice spin by Duncan, and he scores! He was met by Odom on a switch, and he went right at him.
38 points now combined for the trio of the 3 stars here of the San Antonio Spurs.
Bryant, like Ginobili, got a piece of it from behind. Parker puts the speed on, met by Fisher, kicks it out. Bowen. And Odom able to get to it.
That's a big shot right there. That would have given you an 11-point lead.
How about Parker stealing from behind from Odom? Odom switching off to Parker. Shot clock down to 7. Down to 3, 2, 1. Duncan tried to go glass and came up way short.
Yeah, the long arms of Gasol looked like he might have got a piece of that shot. Looked like Tim didn't know what for sure he wanted to do on that play.
Here is Odom. He's had a rough first half.
That's one of those shots he took in game 1 where he laid himself out at the basket rather than going strong.
The Lakers scoreless the last 3.5 minutes. First 2 games, it has been San Antonio falling into that kind of drought. Parker, tough angle shot.
The 3 stars are rolling now.
8 unanswered for the Spurs. Phil Jackson calls for time.
Tim Duncan going to work inside. The little rolling hook shot. He made 2 shots in a row, and it's been Parker and Ginobili. 40 points, 32 in all of game 2. And you see the Lakers stars struggling here tonight. Really, Kobe Bryant is the only guy that has it going. And how about this, Mark? 27 of the 38 shots have been taken by either Ginobili, Duncan, or Parker. And I think Ginobili, that lift that he gave them early, when they saw that shot going in the basket, it lifted all of his teammates.
Lakers have not scored in nearly 4 minutes. 8-0 run here by San Antonio. We're approaching 2 minutes to play in the half. Odom. He was hacked, so Odom will head back to the line. Foul is called on Ori. That is his 3rd. And talking earlier with Greg Popovich, he said, all I have the guys do today is watch videotape of offense, not defense. And he said, I just left him alone the last couple of days. This is the kind of production he was looking for.
Well, it's the pride of a champion. I mean, it's the defending champions. They know they're on the ropes. And this last 2 minutes and 3 seconds, Marv, is going to be very important. Remember the other night in game 2, it was 37-all. And it looked like the Spurs were right there. And the Lakers went on a 9-0 run, pushed that lead to 46-37 and a half, and it came out and put them away in the third quarter. So this last 2 minutes and 3 seconds, the Spurs have to maintain this lead.
And we're told by the scorer's table to change on that last foul. It was not Ori, it was Duncan called on the foul, so that's 2 on Duncan. Odom continues to struggle at the line. He's 2 for 6. Ginobili looking to cut on Vujicic and shoots. Back tap, but handled by Fisher. Kobe Bryant came out shooting. Did hit his shot. But the Lakers have been struggling the last 4.5 minutes. Gasol, rebounded by Duncan. Tim Duncan with 12 rebounds in this first half. Very patient sequence here by the Spurs. Shot clock to 2. 1. Ginobili. Yes!
Sometimes it's just your day. That's his 5th 3 of the day.
Bryant got the step and scores.
See Kurt Thomas over here on the scorer's table. I think they're going to try to get Duncan out of the game here so he does not pick up that third foul.
49-39, San Antonio with 40 seconds to play in the half. Ori for 3. Rebounded by Bryant. Checking the clock. Half-minute left in the second quarter. Gasol. Good job by Ori on the box out. And it's a fraction of a second differential here between the game clock and the shot clock, so the Spurs can work it down. They're on their feet here in San Antonio. Fisher gives the foul, and that will get Thomas back on the floor.
You know, Pop was going to bring him in, but with them having the ball on offense, I think he's going to leave Duncan out there. He's going to bring Barry in now, getting another three-point shooter. It seems a smart play by Parker. He knew the Lakers had a foul to give, so he went quickly in the clock, Marv, so they still had 10 seconds. That's a veteran play. That's knowing the possession.
And now Michael Finley will come on. Kurt Thomas started to make his way out of the court, was called back. So here's Finley for Bowen. Ginobili will put it in play. And San Antonio working that clock down. 3 seconds. 2. Parker surprising Duncan. And that's the end of the first half. A terrific half for the Spurs, who are trying to stay alive in this series, trailing 2-0 coming into tonight. Manu Ginobili leading the way with 22 points in 17 minutes of play, hitting 5 of 6 from beyond that three-point line. Let's go to Craig Sager with Manu Ginobili.
Well, Manu, you come into the game, your team is down 15-8. You hit 2 big threes. For somebody who's been struggling the first 2 games of the series, what did that first one feel like when it went through the hole?
Great. I'm telling you, I haven't made a shot in the whole series so far, so it was great to start making those 2, really get me going and my confidence going up.
Marv mentioned for the first time in Greg Popovich's 12 years as the coach of this team, he had a film session with no defense, only offense. What did you guys learn watching that tape today?
That we were not moving the ball the way we wanted. We were just stagnant. The picks were not real picks. We were letting them get us in our heels. So we were more aggressive. We attacked the rim more. And if we had a shot open, we just let it fly.
Well, thanks a lot. Manu Ginobili not back on his heels tonight. Obviously much healthier with that jammed ankle. Leading the way. We'll be back. Take a short break. The T-Mobile Halftime Report live from the AT&T Center with EJ, Kenny, Charles, and Reggie.
5 out of 9 from downtown for the Spurs, with Manu Ginobili hitting on all 5. How about only 3 assists for the Lakers? All 3 picked up by Lamar Odom. Kobe Bryant, 7 of 11 from the field for 14 points. He's the high man for the Lakers. But the combination, as you mentioned, of Odom and Fisher in a flashback to what took place in Game 1 have not done it here tonight. Duncan gets inside on Gasol. 51-39 San Antonio. The Lakers with only 15 points in the second quarter equals a low quarter for this season's playoff run. And Derek Fisher knocks it down. That's his first field goal.
Well, he and Lamar Odom were a combined 2 of 9 in that first half, which is reminiscent of that Game 1 when they went 4 for 21.
Greg Popovich opening up with Duncan, Bowen, Alberto up front. Finley and Parker at the guard, so Ginobili once again will come off the bench. Shot clock down to 2. Finley for 3. Yes!
That's a big shot for him. As Popovich told us before the game, he's been hitting shots when they run plays for him, but not knocking down those open shots.
Gasol, rebound Finley. He's trying to pull up for a 3, but Odom played him tight. Bryant coming over to help on Duncan, and Duncan's pass picked off by Odom.
Twice first team all defense. He was on Duncan, got back in the passing lane and got the steal.
Gasol backs his way. Let's check in with Craig Sager.
Well, Marv, you mentioned at the half that the Lakers had only 3 assists, none from Kobe Bryant. Bill Jackson says it's not just Kobe trying to do too much one-on-one. It's also Gasol and Odom missing easy shots. He thought that the offense was certainly not in sync. He said you got to give the Spurs defense a lot of credit. As for the Lakers defense, they'll continue to double Duncan as much as they can. But he said we have to get Ginobili out of the comfort zone, out of his rhythm. You'll see a very aggressive D on Ginobili in the second half.
All right, thank you, Craig. Lakers able to keep it alive. Bowen is back on Bryant. And a foul on Bowen.
You know, this game is so reminiscent of that Suns game, Marv, that I'd spoken about a while ago. The Game 2 game when the 3 stars had 51 of the 54 halftime points. And Greg Popovich came out in that third quarter and ran about 3 or 4 plays for Michael Finley. He had 8 points in that quarter. Here he already has 5.
Michael Finley hitting a 3 and a 2. Not shot well in this series. Bryant lost it. And he thought he was fouled. Michael Finley in Game 7 came up big, hit 2 critical 3-pointers against the Hornets. A little confusion there between Duncan and Parker. Parker rebounded by Odom. Parker had to shoot. The shot clock was down to 2. 3 minutes gone by in the third. It's Game 3 of the Western Conference Final Series. Lakers took the first 2 in L.A. Gasol, and it's handled by Alberto.
He's not going strong to the basket tonight. We've seen a couple hook shots that he converted, but a lot of those flip shots around the basket that Phil was not happy about in Game 2.
Duncan drew the double, and Radmanovic took it out of his hands. Gasol to Radmanovic. Nice play right back to Gasol.
Well, Tim Duncan's going to have to realize that when he catches the ball and there's a cutter, when that cutter goes by, the guy who's guarding him is doubling back and double teaming Tim Duncan, so he has to be aware of that guy coming from his blind side.
Here comes Radmanovic backing up on Duncan, and again the double team sets it up for Finley. Lakers down by 11. Odom to Gasol, so they work the lob, and Greg Popovich calls for time.
That's a beautiful passing by the Laker big men. We saw it early in the first half when Gasol made a nice pass in the lane to Odom. This time it's a beautiful lob pass from Odom to Gasol. Lakers showing a little life here, and Greg Popovich is going to stop this real quickly.
Second half woes of the Spurs in this series.
And you can see that 2 34-point halves in LA, and we know about the third quarters that they struggled on the road, and the fans know that too, so little tense here.
Duncan is fouled from behind. Odom going for the block. First foul on Odom, so Duncan will go to the line. He's hit 3 of 4 at the strike. Well, parenting isn't easy, and watching TV's Funniest Family is. This June, the Bill Engvall Show is back. Catch all new episodes of his family comedy June 12th at 9 only on TBS.
I know what you're waiting for. You want me to say that's very funny, so I will oblige.
Dripping with sincerity also.
Marv, this is, remember in LA when the Lakers went on a run, and it was in that second half when they had that 20-point lead. Duncan walked up the line and missed a couple free throws, and it helped that run continue. This is where you've got to walk up, knock those free throws down to keep them from going on a big spurt. He makes 1 out of 2, but that's why those free throws are important.
Spurs back up by 10. San Antonio is led by as many as 12. That's a kick ball. So the shot clock at 14. San Antonio Spurs, the defending NBA champions. Looking for the 5th title in 10 years, trying to go back-to-back for the first time, but trailing in this series 2 games to nothing to the Los Angeles Lakers, who won the first 2 at Staples in LA. Radmanovich has to fire with the shot clock down at 3, and it is deflected out of bounds. Last touch by Gasol. Let's go to Craig Sager. Craig.
Well, Marv, Doug talks a lot about taking the lid off the basket. Watch what happens when Tim Duncan misses his first free throw. He wants to see the ball go in the hoop. He goes up, grabs it, makes a little layup. Now he sees it go through. Little mental preparation, Marv.
And they changed that last call. They say last touch by the Spurs, so the Lakers get a break, maintain possession. Bryant for 3. Rebounded by Duncan.
Kobe's 3-point shot tonight is a little flat, not getting that normal elevation he gets.
Otto Ginobili back on the floor and is fouled by a very aggressive Vladimir Radmanovich.
Well, remember how good Radmanovich was in game 1. He had 5 out of 5 in that first quarter. All of his points came in that period of time. Tonight, 0 of 3. So he's 0 of 3. Odom is 1 of 9 and Fisher 1 of 3. That's 3 of your 5 starters.
Here's Parker getting into the lane and lost it. Gasol from Bryant. Rebound Alberto. Gasol has struggled. 6 for 14 from the field. And he went through a stretch of 6.5 minutes without scoring. They clear it out for Duncan. Radmanovich nearly lost it. Fisher uses the screen. Rebounded by Duncan. 14 rebounds for Tim Duncan.
Now, there's a lot of ways to dominate the game. Now, Duncan is not shooting well tonight, but he is doing a terrific job on the backboards.
Off the fake, the foul on Gasol. He anticipated Duncan was going up, but Tim held back. Beautiful pass to set it up. Gasol with the second foul.
A little bit of the Laker teamwork that we saw here with the Spurs. The big man passing. This time it was Oberto. A little high-low action to Tim Duncan. So we've seen the Lakers do it. Now the Spurs a little of their own action.
And Oberto, an excellent passer, as we've seen throughout the playoffs. Sometimes his contributions do not show up on the stat sheet. Duncan 5 of 7 at the line. Now here's Robert Horry for Fabricio Oberto.
See, I think that Tim Duncan's one of these guys that it's important for him to shoot free throws well early because you know he's going to get fouled late in the game. And he's a guy, he's such a cerebral player Sometimes that affects him a little bit late in the game, and he's thinking about those he missed early in the game. So keep our eye on him as this game goes on.
And there is a break for the Spurs. San Antonio in possession. Just under 6 to go in this third quarter. Marv Albert with Doug Collins, Craig Sager. We're at the AT&T Center in San Antonio. Tony Parker coming up short, but punts back to Bowen. And a foul called on Radmanovic.
That's a nice play by Tim Duncan. You know, I've seen that more in the NBA this year, Marv, that the big men not being able to rebound the ball, so they tip it out. I mean, we saw Tyson Chandler in the New Orleans series, but tipping that ball, that's why it's so important for your guards to sort of be in that area to where they can get those long tips.
And the Hornets and the Spurs both very effective with those back taps. Fourth team foul on the Lakers. Ginobili. We try to go glass. Back comes Odom as Ori hit the deck. Radmanovic to the rim. Beautiful move.
I've always said I'd love to see him do that more often. I think when he was playing for Seattle, he thought he was just a home run hitter. And he has the ability to drive that ball into the basket. He fell in love with that three as a young player. He's really struggled trying to get to the basket.
As Parker got to the rim, he draws the foul. Phil Jackson going with the matchup of Vladimir Radmanovic, who is 6'10", matched up with Manu Ginobili.
When Ginobili's right, there's no way Radmanovic can guard him. I was talking to Pop a little bit before the game, and I said, you see the struggles of Ginobili when he does not go around him. And today, that's not been the case. You've seen him use that quickness and get where he wants to get on the floor. So probably then Phil Jackson's going to have to counter that and come in with Vujacic a little bit sooner than maybe he would like to.
Spurs now 9 of 13 at the line. San Antonio with a 10-point lead. Gasol coming up short. Radmanovic on the follow.
That's going to be a technical foul on Derek Fisher. He was really upset about something. He swung his fist in the air at Eddie Rush. Fisher's acting like he didn't know what happened, but I saw the play the whole way. Thought he got fouled when he spun and got in the lane, but you'll see it, Marv, right here as he spins and gets in the lane right afterwards. You're going to see his display here. Right there as he swings his fist. I don't know if he was happy that Radmanovic got the layup, but I think Eddie Rush took that as he was upset with a non-call at the rim.
Meanwhile, Manu Ginobili knocks down the technical foul. It may have been that Derek was just showing exuberance for that follow.
Yeah, because the ball, I think he thought that Pau Gasol got fouled, and then Radmanovic got it and laid it in. And so that might have been a mistake in the tee there.
Here's Parker to the rim, rebounded by Bryant.
Spurs got to be real careful right here. The Lakers trying to make a push.
Radmanovic for three. And a foul is called. It's on the Spurs. Stay right here, says Ed Rush. Pushing foul on Parker. Only the second team foul on the Spurs. Lakers are over the foul limit.
If you are the Spurs, you want a cushion going into that fourth quarter because you want Phil Jackson to have to keep Kobe on the floor, not get that normal rest, and then maybe fatigue becomes a factor.
Bryant trying to get inside with a scoop. Parker on the run, but stopped by Fisher. There's Parker, and Ori gives it up.
He's not even looking for his shot, Robert Ori. He's got to take that little mid-range jump shot.
Bowen for three. Well, he'll take his shot. Bowen knocks down a three from his favorite spot, this time the right-hand corner. And the Spurs are hitting their three-pointers, 7 of 12 from downtown. Bryant sets it up for Gasol, could not connect, and Duncan gets to it.
Robert Ory's doing a nice job defensively, tipping balls. He's been a factor inside tonight.
Bowen changed his mind. Or he gives it right back to Ginobili for three. Lakers down by 12. And as Bryant makes his move, foul is called. Kobe spinning his way to the right of the circle. Spurs have done a good job on Bryant. Ori on the foul, that's his third. Kobe is 7 of 13. He has 14 points, 5 rebounds. He came out shooting, but hasn't had that blistering period.
Marv, I always look at how many shots does he take to get his points. Tonight he's taken 13 shots to get 14 points. The Spurs can live with that if they can keep him off the foul line.
Mitch Kupchak, Lakers general manager, who was facing some heat earlier, in particular from his star player Kobe Bryant, how things have turned around in that situation.
And you think about who got general manager of the year, executive of the year, was Danny Ainge, a guy who did the same thing in the summertime. So two of the premier franchises in the NBA, their executives pulled off great decisions, great trades, and look where these two teams are. They could be on a collision course for the NBA Finals.
You can go to TNT Overtime All Access on NBA.com for live coverage presented by Yellow Book. Kobe Bryant wide open as that lane cleared out. 16 points. Only 2 of 5, though, 4 points over the last 17 minutes for Bryant. Brent Barrier just checked back in, not able to hit the three. We're down to 2.5 to play in this third quarter. The Spurs lead by 10. Bryant, rebounded by Finley. Rick Popovich sending on Michael Finley and Brent Barry. Play with Duncan, Ginobili, and Bowen.
Going with a small lineup because he wants three-point shooters out there. That's the difference in the game right now, those 7 threes that the Spurs have hit.
There's Vujacic on a switch, playing Duncan. Shot clock out of 2. Duncan has to fire and scores!
That will not be in Pop's offensive highlight tape before Game 4.
But when we look back, that could be a significant shot with the shot clock running down. Lakers trying to come on here late third quarter. Radmanovic got the roll.
So it's going to be interesting to see what Phil Jackson does at the end of this quarter. If this stays a 10-point lead, he normally rests Kobe Bryant the first 4 minutes of the fourth quarter. It'll be interesting to see if Kobe begs to stay in the game tonight and not come out.
Barry played by Falmar. Here's Duncan, yes. And that's what Greg Popovich wants to see. He felt that Duncan passed up on some of those straightaway face-up shots in Game 2. Tim Duncan, 17 points, 17 rebounds. Bryant to the fade. Oh, beautiful shot.
What a tough shot. It makes things look so easy, that little hanging shot going away from the basket.
18 points for Kobe. Here's Ginobili going right at Gasol and scores.
He was making none of those shots in LA. All the spin, all the English he's putting on that ball today is all working for him.
25 points in 19 minutes for Manu Ginobili. Falmar to the reverse. Third quarter winding down. 5-second differential between the shot clock and game clock. Ginobili protecting against Vujacic. Down to 3 on the 24. Duncan fires. That would have been a three-pointer. And here comes Falmar. Gets it off. The Spurs add to their lead, up by 10 at the half. They lead by 12 after 3. And when we come back, Greg Sager will talk with Spurs head coach, one of 5 coaches in NBA history with 4 or more championships. He joins Red Auerbach, Phil Jackson, Pat Riley, and John Cundler, the old Minneapolis Lakers.
Well, this fourth quarter has been all LA in LA. the domination, and we'll see tonight if the Spurs can keep up this 12 minutes. It's the domination I talked about, Mark. 9 of 42 in the 2 games. They have shot 3 of 17 from 3, and Phil Jackson has stayed with his normal rotation. Kobe is on the bench. So right now you have the 4 bench players and Lamar Odom. If I'm the Spurs, I make a push right now and get this up to 16 or 18 with Kobe resting.
The numbers on Kobe, 9 of 16, 18 points. Luke Walton has returned, as has Ronnie Kuriath. Walton gets it out to Farmar for an open 3. Jordan Farmar, who comes off a big game 2 in LA. 5 of 7, 14 points, 2 threes on Friday night. San Antonio outscored LA 20 to 18 in the third quarter. Foul on Vujacic. How about the Lakers? 18 points in the quarter, but 14 of the 18 in the paint. They have not been able to make an outside shot.
Yeah, and that's been the difference, Marv. Right now it's plus 18, or excuse me, now plus 15 at the three-point line after Farmer made that 3.
Fourth quarter underway with the Spurs up by 9. Here's Barry with a long 3.
Those shots are going in at home. That's what Phil Jackson was concerned about.
Off the trap. Lakers lose it. The ball back to San Antonio.
It's amazing. You get home, the lighting, the fans, the floor, those shots, the basket looks like it's twice its normal size than when you're on the road.
Barry played by Walton. Shot clock to 6.
Nice
Beautiful
pass.
Oh, gorgeous pass. Alberto from Barry, and the Spurs have their biggest lead of the night.
Remember now, he went with Brent Barry tonight to get a better shooter on the floor. It has worked out well for Greg Popovich instead of Jacques Vaughn.
Vujacic. Rebounded by Thomas. Here's Alberto, and he'll head to the line.
Well, Brent Barry tonight hit the big 3, then the follow-up with a beautiful pass. So 5 quick points after Farmar had knocked down that 3 to cut it to 9. And they pushed the lead back to 14. All this with Tim Duncan resting as well. So Greg Popovich is buying some nice minutes for Duncan here to be able to come back and finish the game.
Foul committed by Kuriath. That's his 4th. A reminder, national coverage of the NBA playoffs continues tomorrow on ESPN Game 4 between the Celtics and the Pistons, starting at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And then Tuesday on TNT, Lakers and Spurs in Game 4, starting at 9 o'clock Eastern Time. And that a lane violation called on Manu Ginobili, a bit over-aggressive.
So he broke the plane of the three-point line before the ball was released. You cannot break the plane of that three-point line until the ball is hit. Watch what happens. You're going to see Manu Ginobili on the right side come in the picture. That's a violation. They also ruled that Odom, or one of the Lakers, got in too soon, so the basket was wiped out. They lose the point, and you get a jump ball.
Spurs up by 15, and they control the tip. Alberto, Thomas, Ginobili on the front line. Barry and Parker at the guard. Here's Barry. Farmar with the rebound. Farmar. So the Lakers shooting has dropped off. They're down to 41% from the field.
See the Spurs here trying to milk a little shot clock with Duncan on the bench, trying to buy a little few minutes here. Parker with a beautiful give and go, and Barry once again with a nice pass. So Brent Barry has played well here tonight. A nice move by Greg Popovich to get him on the floor. And Marv, what I talked about with Kobe sitting, that lead has gone up to 17. So now when he comes back in, the distance much more difficult to try to make up.
8-0 run for Greg Popovich's San Antonio Spurs. Spurs have done it with vastly improved shooting. They're at 48%. They're hitting the three tonight, 8 for 16. Manu Ginobili set the tone. Manu with 5 from downtown. He's connected on 5 of 6 from beyond the arc. And it was Ginobili providing the spark for the Spurs after coming on in the first quarter. Offensive foul. Foul on Odom.
Lamar Odom is falling into that trap that he had in game one. Watch him lay himself out, or he's jumping forward. And Bowen stepping in, Marv, like clockwork. We just had the Marine teamwork play, so you could have added that one right after it.
And Odom with his 5th turnover on that offensive foul. Nice pass, Alberto, able to finish.
They're really moving the ball. That's one thing Greg Popovich talked about. And you heard Manu Ginobili say to Craig Sager, we didn't move the ball. Well, they are tonight.
10 consecutive points for the Spurs. Odom, rebounded by Alberto. Odom is 1 for 10 from the field.
And Fisher 1 of 4, so 2 of 14 for those guys tonight after they were so good in game 2.
Shot clock down to 5. Parker. Walton with the rebound. Nice pass from Walt. Odom will go to the line. Foul on Duncan. That is his 3rd. This July, the #1 cable series of all time returns to TNT. Always nice to see Kira make her way onto the screen. Get a confession with Kira Sedgwick. As the closer, watch new episodes beginning this July on TNT. We know drama. And for the Lakers, their first free throws in the second half.
It's amazing, and just the aggressive nature. Mark, you asked me a while ago, what happens when a team gets at home? They become the aggressor. And one of the things that has not happened tonight, look at this, the longest drought tonight, 2:31, Mark. This was the death knell for the Spurs in game 1, 10-plus minutes. In game 2, 10-plus minutes. Tonight, 2:31. And that's one of the reasons why they're up 19 points.
San Antonio has been so successful at home, 34-7 in the regular season, tied for 2nd best in the West behind Utah. In the playoffs, they've won all 6 of their games. Parker adds to the lead. And dating back to last season, the Spurs have won 12 straight playoff games here at home, the longest active streak in the NBA. Bryant not able to hit on a reverse, but the follow was put down by Odom.
The impressive thing what the Spurs have done here today, they've totally altered their offensive game plan. They went away from all those pick and rolls they used against the Suns, and everything now is ball movement, player movement, and they're getting crisp plays and good shooting.
Parker with a teardrop. And a more difficult teardrop from a baseline angle.
Yeah, normally you see him do that when he's in the lane.
19 points for Parker. Bryant for 3. But it's been a very quiet night for Kobe Bryant, who has not gone to the foul line. The last time that Kobe Bryant did not take a free throw in a playoff game was back in May of 2004 here in San Antonio.
Well, that's the whole game plan. Play him a little soft on the perimeter, make him a jump shooter. Utah, he shot 16 free throws a night.
Shot clock to 3. Barry, yes. What a night for the veteran, Brett Barry. He missed nearly 9 weeks after tearing a muscle in his calf. That was back in late January. Came back for the final 3 games of the regular season, played limited minutes in the series against Phoenix. The same for the series against New Orleans. Foul is called on Bowen.
Remember, Mark, when he was traded and then they let him go, when he re-signed, he had to sit out like, 30 days or whatever through the rules of the collective bargaining. So fortunately for him, he was hurt during that period of time, so he probably wouldn't have been able to play anyway.
And he had his choice of a couple of teams and said, I want to come back here.
Well, it was, Stevie Kerr, our good buddy, was trying to recruit him, and he said it was a tough decision, but, he's got his home here, he's got his family, all of a sudden you make that move to go to Phoenix and you got to uproot everything. That would have been a tough thing. Oh my.
Kobe Bryant from way downtown. 86-69, San Antonio, 6.5 to play in the fourth. Fisher knocked it away. Ginobili tried to recover. It's deflected out. Last touch by Ginobili.
Now, Derek Fisher has such strong hands. He reminds me of Sharunas Marciulionis, who used to play for the Golden State Warriors. Such strong, powerful, quick hands. If you put that ball down and expose him in front of him, he will strip that ball. That time he knocks it loose off Ginobili.
Here's Bryant, draws the foul. It counts. Bowen on the foul. Bryant hits the three, goes to the line for a potential 4-point play, and this will be his first free throw of the night.
See, when you've got a guy like Kobe Bryant, it's like you're looking over your shoulder, like, when is he coming? Well, you know what? He's coming right now. He's starting to knock down the threes. Phil Jackson rested him during that stretch, hoping he would have fresh legs for the finish. And if you're the Spurs, that 6-12 right now looks like 24 hours.
Bowen with his fourth foul. So Kobe not able to complete the 4-point play. But he has scored the last 9 points for the Lakers in only a minute and a half.
Spurs got to be very careful not to get too conservative here and use too much clock.
Oberto.
Everybody's got it going tonight. Oberto, Brent Barry. I mean, Manu Ginobili got him started. That ball started going into the basket, and boy, has it been contagious tonight.
Oberto, 7 points, 5 rebounds. Here is Bryant for 3. And batted out of bounds. Last touch by the Spurs. Just under 6 to play in the fourth quarter. San Antonio up by 16. A memorable night for Brent Barry. He's been doing it with his ball handling, with his passing, and his shooting. Minutes remaining in the fourth quarter. The Spurs with an 88-72 lead over the Lakers. San Antonio now shooting 51% from the field with 20 assists on their 34 field goals. Well, Doug, the Lakers at 43%, only 11 assists, and they've turned it over 13 times.
Yeah, they've done a nice job, the Spurs. They've been in the passing lanes. They've been quicker today, Marv. They're fresher, and you got to give a lot of it to the home crowd here. They've really energized this team when they've really been in need.
And as Gasol was trying to find Bryant, a foul is called. As Bryant was pushed by Ginobili. And the Spurs now over the foul limit.
That's an off-the-ball foul. I think Luke Walton was cutting in the lane there. He'll shoot 2 free throws. That's not what you want to do if you're the Spurs, even though the Lakers are only 5 of 13 tonight from the line. You don't want to stop the clock and give them 3 points.
Walton at the line for the first time. NASCAR on TNT returns Sunday, June 8th with Sprint Cup Racing live from Pocono. Join us for NASCAR live on TNT.
You know, Mark, we ought to give a little shout out to Bill Walton. A nice article on he and Luke in the paper.
There's Bowen. Rebounded by Romanovich. Bill has suffered a bad back, and he has been out of action for quite some time. We have not seen him on the airwaves, and we certainly hope to see Bill back up in front of the camera in short time. Here's Bryant for 3.
That guy's amazing. You're never out of the game when he's on your team.
Imagine Bill, playoff time, not able to talk about it.
Oh, no.
Lying on his back.
Oh.
Poor Lori, his wife, has to hear all those comments. That will count, and a foul.
And that was terrible defense.
That's an excellent Bill Walton impersonation.
Yeah, you see the Spurs here getting the ball inside to Tim Duncan as the Lakers are making a little push, and Tim Duncan says, thank you very much. He's not shot the ball well here tonight. He has picked it up here in the second half. He's now 7 of 16, but Marv, 19 big rebounds by Tim Duncan.
Tim Duncan completes a three-point play. And the Spurs now lead 91-76. Bill Plaschke in the LA Times wrote that article about Bill Walton. It's some quotes from Luke as Bryant comes up short. And Luke said anytime that his dad would say something controversial, he would hear it from fans around the NBA. Parker is fouled. Luke would say, I didn't say it.
He said his teammates used to even tell you, and then he finally said, that's my dad, that's not me. But Luke missed his dad. I talked to him a little bit before the game and said, please say the best to your father. Hope we'll be up and around soon. We miss him.
Foul on Bryant, that is his third. So Tony Parker to the line. High-point man for the Spurs, Manu Ginobili with 25. Tim Duncan has 20. Tony Parker with 19. Kobe Bryant, high man for the Lakers with 30. Phil Jackson takes a timeout.
Looking for a nice wine to have with dinner tonight. Greg Popovich has his own label. And appropriately, it is called Rock and Hammer.
Well, Greg Popovich, for a man who was down 0-2 before the game, Marv, was a very confident guy. When we were in there before the game visiting with him, he felt very good about his team. He said, we're fresher, and I think those shots that we missed in LA we're going to make today. Well, right now he's a prophet because they're shooting 51%, 53% from three, and they've been very good here tonight in the fourth quarter after stumbling in the two games in LA.
And he actually had an unusual point of view in going into this game and see Gasol setting up for the hook shot over Duncan. He says, I'm thrilled to play in a game like this just to see what our guys will do. It's hard to believe that, but in his case, it was genuine.
He said there'd be angst the other way if we were up 2-0 was his exact words. And he said, you know what, I would love to be able to get it back 2-2 and go game 5 on the road. That's my favorite game to play.
And the reason that he'd like to, aside from the fact, love to tie up the series. Duncan now with 22 points, 20 rebounds, but he was disappointed the way the Spurs reacted to a game 5 in the previous series.
Yeah, against New Orleans, said they were miserable.
That game in New Orleans. Off the steal, it's a 3-on-2. Ginobili makes the turn, draws the foul. Yes, it counts.
Manu Ginobili. This is what everybody's been waiting for. Charles Barkley said all season long he's been their best player, their leading scorer all season long. He struggled in the first 2 games, and you see Tim Duncan, so a little of that quiet confidence coming back. Marv, I talked about it. I thought to start the game tonight, they had lost a little bit of that confidence, the way they had played in LA, especially after about the last 6 minutes of game 1. From that point on, in through the game 2. And tonight, see a little swagger back from the Spurs.
Phil Jackson pulling out Kobe Bryant with just under 3.5 to play. Ginobili completes the 3-point play. How about the Spurs 11 of 14 from the field here in the fourth quarter, which has been a troubling quarter to say the least against the Lakers. Vujacic off the mark, and back comes Ginobili, who now has 28 points.
Well, Mark, just to put a little stamp on that, they had 9 total field goals in the 2 fourth quarters in LA. 9 of 42. They were 3 of 17 from 3.
Ginobili, oh, he's hit hard.
I get him out of there right now. If I'm Pop, I get him out of there. You know, when anything, he's got a jammed ankle. He's got a finger that's been bothering him. This is this time to get the bench in, especially with Kobe Bryant out.
A hard foul by Kuriak. Bowen did not like it. They're having some words as we revisit tonight's Collins Keys, presented by Heineken Light.
Well, we talked about Duncan domination, 20-22-5. How about that? Home sweet home, 52% field goal mark. They're 36-1 at home this year when they have shot 45% or better. Look at the three-point shooting and finishing the game. It's been all Spurs tonight. And again, I thought it started when Manu Ginobili hit those 2 threes. Marv, I think the score was 15-8. The Lakers were up when he hit those 2 threes, and his team responded.
Armando did not appreciate that jolt from Turiaf. Standing ovation for Tim Duncan. His 10th playoff career, 2020. 22 points, 21 rebounds. And Barry with the foul. Perhaps giving the foul to get some substitutes on the floor. As Popovich making changes. Matt Bonner dressing for tonight, making his first appearance in this series. Spurs are over the foul limit. It appeared that Greg Popovich was going to pull Manu Ginobili, who is in an animated conversation with Ronny Turiaf. It appears they're okay, though. And now Ginobili will be replaced by Ime Udoka. Standing ovation for Manu Ginobili. What a sensational performance. 9 of 15 from the field. 5 of 7 from beyond the arc. 30 points. So one shy of his high for this year's playoffs. He had a 31-point game against the Hornets. But Manu's been playing hurt. The ankle, the finger on a shooting hand. Foul is called as the Lakers try to trap. So they are over the foul limit, and Udoka will go to the line.
I always love it when guys that don't make excuses. Seems like when they bounce back like this, it's never point fingers, never blame anybody else, and it's been a big bounce back game from the Spurs, Marv. Look at this now. First 2 losses on the road, 84-82. That was against New Orleans. They bounced back 110 and 100 in games 3 and 4. Look at the LA, 85 and 71 tonight. They get 100 once again. It's an incredible pattern that has been following the San Antonio Spurs team.
Kurt Thomas getting set to come on. Trevor Ariza, who made his return the other night, is on the floor for the first time here tonight. Vujacic spinning his way on Udoka. And Vujacic has to fire from downtown.
When you look at that Laker bench tonight, the studio was talking about at halftime. Farmore has 10, but 4 for Vujacic, 1 of 4. Luke Walton has 1 field goal and 1 for Turiaf, so not near the production. And Marv, when they went to that bench, when Phil Jackson did a bench that he had so trusted all season long, they went from down 12 to down 17 while Kobe rested.
Offensive foul is called. It is on Udoka, so the ball back to the Lakers. They have Vujacic and Farmar at the guard with Motovich, with Turiaf and Ariza up front. Ariza making it back from that broken bone in his right foot. Injury taking place in late January. That's Ariza taking to the rim.
Now these are minutes that are good for him. It might be the garbage time for other guys right now, but if he can get some rhythm, Phil Jackson would like to use him maybe on Tony Parker in this series if he would need it.
100-82 Spurs. So this series is cut to a 2-1 lead for the Lakers, and it's not something new for the Spurs. They began their conference semifinal series against New Orleans down 2-0 in a hole. They come back, they win that set in 7, but the Hornets, a very young team with their key players involved in their first postseason experience, as opposed to a team like the Lakers, where Motovich was able to put it down.
Mark, I've always said one of the keys to success in the NBA playoff is navigating the highs and lows, the emotional swings between game to game.
And the next game for these two clubs, Tuesday night, right here at the AT&T Center in San Antonio. We'll have it on TNT starting at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Ball is deflected out. Last touch by the Lakers as you look at the schedule of this Western Conference Final Series. A series that will make its way back to Staples Center in LA for a Game 5. And the entire Western Conference Final will be seen exclusively right here on TNT. Final minute of the fourth quarter. Ariza for 3. Kept alive by Vujacic. And he fires one up through the hands of Vaughn. So the Lakers maintain possession.
And you can bet that Phil Jackson is going to count on a bounce-back game by both Odom and Fisher. They did that after the 4 for 21 in Game 1. They had a terrific Game 2. Tonight, combined 3 of 15. And those two guys are so important. Fisher brings the defense. Lamar Odom brings that versatility and that size. He's been a one-man zone. He can attack off the dribble. So those two guys are going to be good games for the Lakers to win here in Game 4.
An ovation for the Spurs from the home crowd. After losing the first 2 in LA, Game 1, they blow a 20-point lead. Game 2, they are blown out. Finley from downtown. So the Spurs turn the tables on the Lakers. 103-84. With 5 seconds to play. San Antonio shooting 51% from the field. And that wraps it. The Spurs 12 for 17 in the fourth quarter. Manu Ginobili, the high scorer with 30, hit 5 from downtown. Tim Duncan, a magnificent game, 22 points, 21 rebounds, 5 assists. Tony Parker, 20 points, 5 assists.